Make some noise right now!
Enter! Podcast and Chill Network in association with Grandeur presents the Road to 1 Million Subscribers event on the 30th of July 2023 at SUNBET AREANA in Pretoria. Lineup includes Kaizer Chiefs, MacG, Musa Keys, Pops, Celeste Nduli, Eugene Koza, and Robert Boy. This fun-filled event will include comedy, music performances, as well as a live audience conversation with MacG, Sol Penduka, and the Ghost Lady. Tickets are now available on Cricket from 295 rands. Doors open at 6 p.m. Food and drinks sold at the venue. Come and join a milestone celebration of Black excellence with Podcast and Chill Network.
No one is interested in buying United players.
It's still early.
I mean, no interest from Saudi, nothing, zero.
For who?
For United players.
Harry Maguire.
I thought Bruno, someone was interested in Bruno.
Man.
Where's he? If Man United are going to sell players, Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno.
Sell the best player in the team. No, can't.
Vegas.
And they need to sell to
buy.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the money.
Unless the takeover happens.
Yeah, that's what all Man United fans are praying for.
So nothing, no news in the takeover, no news in the signings or selling, nothing.
Nah, United is just flat right now.
Hey. Anyway, let's introduce this thing because we're talking Man United signings and it's not looking good. Ballers, welcome. This is ONSIDE ZA with me, Marco Martins. We've got Ed to Great joining us in the studio. And of course, welcome to you and Super Sub back here.
Thank you, man.
If you're wondering where's Lenn, Lenn has taken a day off because this is too much cardio for him. Have you seen that guy on a podcast? He's moving. Needs a day off. He can't do this every week.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Puts in the meat.
You sure you didn't go to America with that other guy?
Hey.
You never know, eh?
Mahudu Mondays.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to ONSIDE ZA. Like we said, ballers, keep the comments coming. We love reading them when we read them.
Even when they're burying us.
Hey, it's fine. The thing is, we don't get buried too much when we don't deserve it.
Yeah, not true.
You know, they keep us honest.
They're very honest. And I mean, obviously, whatever they say on the comments, we take it seriously as well, you know. So
Yeah.
it sparks engagements.
That's the thing. And I think talking about taking things seriously, this is something that we've brought up so many times on the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's something we take seriously, obviously. And of course, Black Leopards back in South African professional football.
Yeah, man, I saw. Like we spoke about it for a few episodes. That I mean, there are speculation that they will buy All Stars. So I think that deal eventually went through, and they're back in NFD. You know, you get relegated in the same league, and then you buy the same status to come back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. For me, that is just. It's something else. It's nonsensical.
Yeah, I think we touched on it last week as well when I was here.
Yeah.
I think, like you said last week, Super Sub, it does water down the football in the country. I think it's better when if a team goes down. I remember when Jomo Cosmos went down, and they eventually went down 3 or 4 times, and Jomo Sono was very proud to have gone down 4 times and come back 4 times.
Exactly.
You know, and just to keep that respect and legacy of the team, you need to do the work, and instead of buying your way up again.
No. And even Black Leopard, they used to do that. They used to get relegated, come back up to Premier League, and I think they just realized now they're going to 3rd tier, which is like, very, very bad down there. You know, now you're playing in a provincial league. It's no longer in a national level. So I think that's why they decided to buy this themselves back up. But for me, I think that move, look, it serves them right. But for me, I feel like it just waters down the history of football. And Lenn mentioned something very interesting in the previous episode about teams in the Premier League that are still the way they were when from inception. You know, and it looks like it's only Orlando Pirates, Kaizer Chiefs, and Mamelodi Sundowns. All the other teams, they've either bought status of another team and all of that. So, I mean, our Premier League does not have history.
Yeah, the DStv Premiership for sure. And I mean, obviously, okay, there's a purchase that's happened now in the Motsepe Foundation Championship.
Yeah.
But now we have to wonder, is it the legacy of the former chairman, David? Yeah, and his two sons have now convinced him to, because he seemed to have won out. Like he's done with football. He clearly feels like he doesn't have the legs for it anymore.
Yeah.
Or the hunger to spend the money to do professional football in South Africa, which we mentioned last time is very expensive.
Yeah.
To own a professional football club in South Africa. So the two sons, they had many family meetings, many arguments, etc., before making this decision to buy the club. They said this in the announcement. But the one thing from the announcement that I got that I liked is that they said, we understand that things have to change now for us to do this, and it sounds like it's their last swing. So it's not like they're coming in just swinging money and saying, okay, whatever happens, we'll come again. If we need to, we'll just buy another club.
Yeah.
So this is like, clearly, it looks like they're just saying the right things maybe. But maybe it's really how they feel, is that we don't want the Black Leopards brand to die.
Yeah.
All Stars was Cape Town All Stars, then it became All Stars. So it's not a legacy club that they've bought. Do you know what I'm saying? So
maybe,
maybe,
I get what you're saying, yeah.
You know, this is something that none of us like, and we've mentioned this a few times.
Yeah.
But out of all the scenarios you could imagine happening, this is maybe the least egregious of the lot. This is not the worst.
Yeah, I can imagine, and I think I agree with you to an extent, because, I mean, Black Leopard has been there, you know, and I think it's the first time they're actually going this route, you know, and it's probably a legacy thing that the children feels like, you know what, they can take it further with new ideas, which is something that we also touched on in previous episode, that there are certain clubs in PSL that are legacy team and they're not reinventing, you know what I mean? So I think maybe the Suns, they're going to reinvent the wheel, and maybe the idea is to just go all the way and try and promote Black Leopard to the DStv Premier League and retain the status, because every time when they go up, they stay a season or two and they get relegated. So hopefully now they will work hard to get it up there and actually keep it up there, because geez, man.
To me, it seems more like a management, a lack of management problem than anything. If you can't manage the club, why not sell it?
But you know, teams have to go down, and
they don't have,
someone has to go down.
They don't have to if there's someone better that can manage it better.
Yeah,
if you look at Premier League and other and other leagues in Europe, they're not owned by families, and they're not owned by the same organizations forever.
Yeah.
Kaizer Chiefs don't want to sell. It's a family business. They've told us this before.
Yeah.
Jomo Cosmos as well.
Yeah.
Now TDL's team as well. Yeah. It's the same thing. And I think eventually that the ideas do run out, and the passion and commitment, and hence the teams at the end of the day, they end up going through what Jomo Cosmos and Muraka Swallows have gone through as well.
Yeah.
But if the legs are not there to run the club anymore, sell it.
Yeah,
like the Glazers want to, like FSG at some point will have to for Liverpool and all. So I think it's a management thing than a problem than anything else.
And speaking of Chiefs, you know, this could be a talking point. Obviously, Sifiso Klanti could be on his way out of the Chiefs side now.
Yes, yeah. So reports are that they are extending. They offered him an extension of a year, but with a salary cut, because obviously he's 33, you know, and I think Chiefs has done it before with Yeye. That's why I think he ended up leaving, you know, to SuperSport. Yep. Yeah, you know. I don't understand, you know, why would you offer somebody an extension with a salary cut if you value the person, you know?
But have you seen the salaries at Kaizer Chiefs?
Yeah, it's quite high.
That's something they need to address, because they can't.
How much was he on?
No, I mean, I don't know the exact figure, but the salaries in general for the entire team, they need to address salaries in general because they're spending too much money on player salaries.
100%.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I
They're
think
spending more on
almost,
salaries than Sundowns are, right?
Yes.
Yep.
yeah, no,
I think they're the biggest, the highest salaries in the league, hey?
Kune, I think, is getting about 8 to 9.
Yeah.
a
So
month.
most probably, but I know Dolly is up there, like almost to $1 million.
Kune as well is
reports,
almost $1 million, yeah.
Yeah, look, I just don't
Did
feel...
he sign the contract with the salary cut?
That's why we
That's why we're
speculate-
discussing this, yeah.
Yeah, we're speculating that he could be on his way out because I think there are offers elsewhere where they're going to offer him probably whatever he's getting at Chiefs with a longer contract, maybe 2 or 3 years, you know.
or even if it's higher than the salary cut offer
Yes.
and not his current salary, it's still more money.
It's still more
and
money.
he could go to another club. And the other thing is, at the moment, why stay at Chiefs for football reasons? You can stay at Chiefs for salary reasons, so they can hold on to players if they're going to keep paying them big money.
Yeah, 'cause
but
they're
for
not-
football reasons, other than being a kid who grew up as a Chiefs fan or whatever, and for the passion of Chiefs and you know, Chiefs is the Manchester United of South Africa.
Yeah,
It's
no,
you know,
definitely.
it's the big name.
We could say
Okay.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I think, okay, along with Pirates maybe, in terms of just
100%.
the team that the whole, like every little boy wants to play for one of those
Yeah,
clubs.
no, definitely.
Okay, Sundowns as well, but no one else. So besides that factor of a footballer playing just because he's a Chiefs fan and he wants to play for Chiefs or whatever, other than that and salaries, what's keeping a player at Chiefs right now?
There's not much. I mean, if you look at what they've won, there's nothing in the past 10 years almost. You know, so it's definitely for...
Especially with how the season ended. The run of
Exactly.
games that they went on, the run of losses.
Yes, the run of losses, yeah, no.
And there's no, for me, from a footballing standpoint, footballers looking at the club and saying, is next year going to change?
Yeah,
Is it going to change for the good?
Yeah.
I agree with you. There's
So-
not much.
There's not much from a footballing standpoint that's keeping players there.
That's why it's probably going to leave eventually because, I mean, why take a salary cut? If you take a salary... I mean, as a player, I'll probably will want to sacrifice knowing that, okay, I'm taking a salary cut. I'm going to be playing in Champions League the next season. You know, chances are we can go all the way. They're not even qualified for Champions League. So there's not really much that I think will motivate him to take that salary cut.
I think this is going to
Unless
depend
maybe
on...
he's looking at the money. I mean, he's reaching retirement age currently. So if he stays for another year or two, I don't think he's going to play beyond 36.
No.
At centre back, you
Yeah, it's
can play
33.
a little bit longer.
33,
It's
yeah.
not a forward, you know. So the legs aren't necessarily in the same way needed like in forwards,
Exactly,
you know, forward players.
Yeah.
So I think this is all going to boil down to where the other contract offers are coming from,
Yeah, definitely.
and at what sort of rates.
If there's another contract out there that is better than what his Chiefs is proposing for the extension, he's definitely going to take it. I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to stay there.
Okay, so obviously Mamelodi Sundowns had a great season.
Yeah.
The players playing top football, now attracting interest from the best league in the world, Saudi. Themba Zwane.
Yeah, I know. There's reports that there's teams interested in Themba Zwane. And yeah, look, I mean, if I were him, I think he's also like, 32, 33. You know, he's won everything with Sundowns. He's won the leagues. He's won the Champions League as well with Sundowns. I mean, if there's a good offer, if I were Themba Zwane, I think it's right to take it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like Saudi Arabia is going to be an interesting league next season with all these stars. You know, if you're 33 and there's interest, and you've won everything at club level with your team, why not go rub shoulders with your Benzimas?
Well,
your
we're not
Ronaldo?
talking about a Premier League player. It's not like when Bernardo Silva was rumored of being of interest to Saudi League, and then all the pundits are like, you can't be at the top of your game and go to Saudi League. I mean, let's be honest, DStv Premiership isn't the top of world club football.
No, definitely.
Maybe a step up from Saudi League currently.
Yeah, no.
But Benzema, Cristiano Ronaldo, and then some players who are in the prime of their life are also joining the Saudi League, and not just the people in the retirement stage of their career. So Saudi League is it a step down from DStv Premiership right now?
Of course not.
It's not. I'll say it's not a step down.
Not
on
with
this,
Benzema and Cristiano
Of course,
Ronaldo and players
definitely
like
not with our
that.
players.
But
Definitely.
I'll phrase it this way. I wouldn't say it's a step down from Premier League. It's definitely a step up for Tembazwane.
For PSL
Yeah.
players, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
for Tembazwane. I don't want to
Tembazwane.
say for PSL. Because look, I haven't watched enough Saudi League to say Premier League is not better than Saudi.
Can I
For
tell
all
you how
we
much
know-
Saudi League I've watched? None.
So we can't assume that.
Cristiano Ronaldo's Instagram page. That's all the Saudi
You
League I
see,
see.
so for all we know, PSL could even be better than them.
Yeah.
So I'll say it's a step up for Zwane in a sense that he has won everything for Sundowns.
Yeah.
He's also like 33, reaching the later stage of his career. So he might as well go out there and cash out. And what a better way to cash out
To retire.
with the likes of the players that you
Ronaldos.
mentioned, your Ronaldos, your Benzemas, your Kantes.
N'Golo Kante, yeah.
I feel like it would be a good move for him, I think.
And I think we have to give it to the Saudi League as well, that they're not only looking at Euro players to boost their league as the project that they're going under
No,
right now. They're
definitely.
looking everywhere for any good players around the world. I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, Real Madrid do it in South America every season.
Yeah.
They go and get talent from South America.
Yeah.
And I mean, top European clubs look to Africa for talent as well. But they look for young talent that they can groom. So this
can
is an
take
interesting
oversight.
move
Yeah.
where there's not many players that
develop
come
them.
from the DStv Premiership that are reaching the twilight years of their career that then move on to other leagues around the world.
Yeah.
It's not that common. It's
Yeah.
more the other leagues, like bigger leagues, or especially financially bigger leagues, normally look to Africa for younger talents that they can groom into prospects.
No, definitely. And I think what also Europeans, and I think we've mentioned this, European clubs, I think they like shopping on the western and northern parts of Africa. Hey? They don't play much down here for some odd reason. Hey?
I wouldn't say for some odd reason, because I remember obviously the partnerships with Ajax Cape Town. That's the one that stems to mind first, because
Yeah.
I mean there was a full brand partnership, everything, and they used Ajax Cape Town as a feeder club to groom talent
Yeah.
to take over that side, and they didn't. They had maybe Stephen Pienaar
Yeah.
is one success story of a South African league player going young enough
Yeah.
to European football and becoming a success.
But did Benny come out of 7 Stars from that?
Yeah, he
From
left
that project as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's from that project.
Okay, so there's a couple players that have gone on to do things through feeder clubs in South Africa. Feyenoord had agreements here in South Africa as well with feeder clubs.
Yeah.
So big European clubs have looked at South Africa before for talent.
Of course they did.
And
Yeah.
how much have they really gotten out of it? How much talent have they really found?
Not much, eh?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Back in the I don't know. Now they have not been look. I don't know if they've been looking, but they have not been signing players from our country, from our league. But back in the days, they had a lot of success. Our players had a lot of success in the Premier League. Ben McCarthy eventually went to the Premier League. Sean Bartlett.
There's quite a few, yeah. I mean, you
And the
look
boy
at
that played for Tottenham.
Yeah, Mark Fish as well.
McFish.
Well,
There's-
yeah, Stephen Pienaar is the big name.
Quinton
for where
Fortune as
where he
well.
played for Spurs. Quinton
Yeah.
Fortune as well, also from a fairly young age, played
Yeah.
European football. But there's not enough like when you look at Senegal.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, yeah, no.
That
So the success for European teams in terms of finding talent in countries,
Yeah.
they keep going back to the countries that they get talent. So I think you can't blame the European football clubs for not looking at South Africa for more talent, because they tried it and they didn't reap enough benefit. Whereas they're reaping benefit from West Africa.
That's what I'm saying. What is it that, like, maybe the question we should be asking ourselves is, in the southern part of Africa, what is it that we're doing that is not attracting big clubs? Because if you look at your Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, all those countries have got like big stars all the time in the Premier League, in La Liga, in Bundesliga. They've got like big stars, but we've got like a handful of players, and we cannot say there's no talent, but is there something that maybe we're not doing
It boils down
right?
to the national team. That's where they mostly get recruited. And we are not featuring in the top international competitions. We don't qualify for the World Cup.
With
We're
the
not
most
performing-
powerful league in Africa, domestic league
Yeah.
in Africa, surely.
But
PSL
but your
or
your
DStv
national
Premiership?
team has to do good. Has to do
Your
better.
point is very, very valid because a lot of players get recruited in like World Cups, AFCONs, and if your national team is not participating on those, it does gonna have some effects on your players, and I think that's another reason. But I just feel like there's more that we're not doing right,
I think this begs the question. We spoke a couple episodes ago about the lack of development or the right development of young, talented players in this country.
Yeah.
And we're saying that they're not doing enough. We don't know that much, but we simply feel that they're not doing enough for nurturing young talent in this country and training them correctly. Are we wrong in saying that? Because we had feeder clubs in this country that were looking for young players for them to take over and groom, and it wasn't successful. Is it a problem of the system not training young players to make them good enough? Or do we not have the talent?
100%.
Do we maybe not have the talent?
We definitely have the talent.
Talent is there.
In SA. I think the development structure is the problem.
Or are we not giving enough incentive to young players to develop their talent and actually go?
We're not giving enough support to the structure itself, not to the players. Young players are not looking for incentives. They're not looking to be compensated to play football.
Yeah.
They just want to play ball.
They just want to play ball, but at their platforms. Us growing up, there was something called School of Excellence. I don't know if you know about it.
Yeah, I think Stephen Pino is from there, actually.
Yeah, a few good players back in the days, early 2000s, late 90s, they came from there. Naturena was a very good development structure as well. They had a RAW facilities where the likes of Junior Kanye and Jabupule came from as well. That as well has died when Farouk was managing it.
Yeah.
Howard Freeze as well was part of the management there. I know this because I was one of the players, a failed talent. So yeah, I think we're not giving enough support to the structures themselves, not the players. The players are there. Players want to play. Talent is there. Go to Soweto. Go to the East Rand. Go to Mamelodi. Everywhere.
And Pirates at Yebo Yes, sorry to cut you. Pirates at, I think, Yebo Yes, back then that developed your Dugudugu Makanyas. I think Gift Leremi came from there as well. A few players came from there. And also, talking about young talent, I read something very interesting. Sporting director at Sundowns, I think the guy's name is Fleming Berg, So, obviously, PSL has got DDC, which is a Diski Challenge. This is where you field your youngsters. And he said to the powers at Mamelodi Sundowns that if you are 19, 20, and 21, you can't be playing at DDC, which means you need to be up there or you have failed, which means he wants 16-year-old, 17-year-old. So, and again, we've touched on this. I think Mamelodi Sundowns is a little bit ahead of the rest, and that's why I think they're seeing success. Things like this, you've got a sporting director who's making these decisions. It benefits the club,
Yeah, we're seeing results from Sundowns that might not only be on the pitch for the senior team,
yes,
but throughout all the systems in the background of the club.
Yeah.
They're doing the right things. And that's why they're reaping the benefits of such great success in recent
Definitely.
years in the first team.
You can't be 21.
point, yeah.
You can't be 21 and be playing for a B side when you've got like the likes of Phil Foden at the age of 21 has already won 5 Premier Leagues.
Mbappe at Monaco, he started at 16.
Mbappe, Lionel Messi started at 16. So I think
And he came straight from La Masia.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think the biggest problem I think we have is we take too long to give these youngsters a chance, to break into the senior team.
You're talking about giving youngsters a chance. And Bafana Bafana coach Hugo Bruce admitted he doesn't know about the PSL First Division.
Yeah,
the second division. And he handed the ropes to his assistant.
How did he get the job then?
But he...
Yeah, that's a bit weird for me. If you're in this country, you need to align yourself with the league, with both leagues, because there's talent there, and I think there's sort of like, I don't know, if there's a communication breakdown between the national team coach and the clubs, because he needs to look, especially for COSAFA, which is a non-sanctioned tournament, by FIFA. you need to be looking at NFD to expose those young players that tomorrow,
To competitive football
yes, they
at a
can,
national level.
yes, they can benefit the senior national team, and also they can get exposed to get contracts from big clubs, you know. So I don't understand why he's not giving it an eye, but yeah, like you said, Marco, he's given the ropes to his assistant, and I believe his assistant does not have a pro coaching qualifications,
yeah.
so he can't sit on the bench. So I think they've roped another 2 coaches for that COSAFA Cup. How bizarre is that?
But I think it's incompetency and unprofessional by him, by the coach. Because if you know that something like this is going to happen.
Yeah.
You need to prepare yourself. You need to start watching those games. You need to start watching those boys.
Yeah.
And prepare yourself for the competition.
How angry should we be as the football viewing public in this country if he doesn't get results on the field with Bafana now?
Yeah.
If he doesn't get results with Bafana now,
Yeah.
after this, because it's one thing to say, oh, you didn't get results with Bafana. Bafana's underachieved for many, many years. But now, the hammer has to come down on him after admitting this when Bafana doesn't succeed, because it's, where's your attention then?
Yeah.
If you've not succeeded with Bafana and you hand something like this off and you say, I don't have the energy to pay attention to this,
Yeah.
then surely you're paying so much energy into the first team and the ambitions of the Bafana squad with the African Cup of Nations
Coming up, yeah.
If you don't succeed there, then you've spent your preparation time wrong. You might as well have put some attention into this, because you're doing nothing there either.
Yeah, I agree with you.
100%.
Look, I think we can cut him some slack with the fact that it's not a FIFA sanctioned tournament.
Of course.
It's more of, it's COSAF, it's Southern region, you know, it's Mozambique.
But then you better
Zambia.
succeed.
Look, I think the hammer's going to come to poor Hellman because he has to select the players.
I agree, and that's
I think he's
and that's
already
fun.
shifting the blame in advance.
But then with what Marco is saying, he has to go and succeed in AFCON, because if you can't pay attention to COSAFA,
then your attention should be elsewhere.
the attention is AFCON, and you need to bring us good results. You know?
Yes.
Of course.
No, I
yes.
agree with you there.
So we give him the benefit of the doubt for now.
Yeah.
But if there's no success at AFCON,
yeah, no, he needs to. Yeah, no, I think they're gonna come down hard on him. You know.
let's wrap up local football. Maritzburg United, Fadlu Davis. Huh? Politics in football.
Look, I think Farouk Kadodius, it's what I think we call them sour grapes, eh? You know, but again, you know, he's saying Fadlu Davis, I think,
Yeah.
was half in, half out already. You know, when the playoffs were happening, you know, it looks like he went for an interview at Wydad, and he eventually was revealed as an assistant coach to Zimbabwe, who was working with him at Orlando Pirates. So, yeah, it looks like Farouk Kadodia is saying the man never really gave it all, and had it been more focused, they would have survived. I don't know what you guys think.
Do you think Davis watches this podcast? Because you said for so long, Maritzburg should go down automatically. If you don't finish 15th,
if you finish 15th, you go.
if you
said that
finish
last week as
15th,
well, yeah.
you must go.
Yeah, no.
So maybe he watches the podcast. So just say he's like, aye,
there's not
we
much
must
I can
go.
do."
There's not, we must go. It's not fair if we stay.
Exactly.
We must go.
That's probably what he's a
And he's
baller.
like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
Look, he's a baller.
He's a baller. No, look, I think it's just sour grapes, man. I think he's heard that this team is gone and is losing out on a lot of money. But I mean, in any profession, there's no one that doesn't look out for themselves. You know, you must always have that in the back of your head, that if you've got talent, at some point they're gonna want to leave, or else they're or they're looking at other opportunities. And I think.
But if he did go for interviews, surely he should have waited a couple of weeks to go for interviews. When other clubs are knocking on your door and they say, "Look, we want you," he should say,
wait.
I'm committed right now.
Yeah.
These are very important games coming up for the club that I'm contracted to.
Yeah.
I should commit. I should It's just general ethics.
Ethics.
So if he did, I mean, we don't know if he really did those
Yeah,
interviews
we
or
don't
not.
know, you know, it's
But
just
general
speculation.
ethics, surely he should have said, I'm not doing any interviews for now. Wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, look.
Wait 3 weeks, and then we'll do the interviews.
Yeah, true. I think so. From that point of view, you're making a good point, but you're in a ship and you
Hey.
can see the ship is sinking.
And I'm sending emails to another company already from my work email address.
I don't know.
You
I don't
know?
know if he should have waited or not. I think we can argue that some players, even players, not just managers, they do speak to managers of teams that are interested in them and the clubs themselves before they actually reveal to the club that they're currently playing. They do have those secret talks.
Yeah, you see,
And
FIFA's got
it's a norm
regulations
in
against
football.
it for a reason, though. But look, I think with players, when you're going and conducting interviews as a manager and you're saying, this is your team, here's my PowerPoint presentation of how it would run things like that, that should wait for off-season.
If it's an official interview,
Because
if it's an official interview, then it's wrong. But you can have talks, you can have lunch, you can have tea, you can have coffee.
Because with
you know?
football players,
There's
the players
agents.
don't do prep
talking.
work for an interview.
Yeah.
Right? Your agent goes and negotiates for
Yes.
you. You can still
Correct.
focus on your team. A manager, it takes prep work for you to conduct an interview for management.
Because you need to present.
You need
need
to
to convince
present
them why.
yes. Players, they've done their reviews on you. They've got a scouting team that goes and looks at your credentials, says you're good in this area, whatever. Let's speak to your agent, see what sort of salary demands and financially how we can make this deal happen.
Yeah.
So for a player to be speaking to other clubs, I think isn't as bad as this, because the player now speaking to other clubs isn't taking energy and attention from him. His agent goes and does the talking. He's a player. He can focus on his job.
Okay.
But I
that
think a
makes sense.
manager, your attention is now going to those things. I agree. If those interviews happened, like we said, we don't know for sure. But if they did, Maritzburg United have the right to feel done in a little bit.
Yeah, look, because it was a critical stage of Maritzburg.
Critical.
Hectic, you know, in the middle of playoffs, and you're not really getting the results within the playoffs, and you've got a guy who's supposed to take you out of
that was a wrong
that.
move.
Yeah, no.
Unprofessional.
Yeah,
Very
look, I feel
unprofessional.
for Farouk, but yeah, no, he finished 15th. He must go.
Okay, so talking about Black Leopards in Motsepe Foundation.
Yeah.
But still in DSTV Premiership, AmaZulu.
Yeah, no, they appointed Franco Pablo, eh?
Franco
Franco-
Pablo.
Pablo Franco.
Pablo Franco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The former Real Madrid assistant coach.
Yeah, no, I think,
Yeah.
can we say our league is attracting the best or what?
I wouldn't say that because he was in Tanzania, so we attracted another African candidate. So it's not like we got him. They got him straight from Europe.
Europe.
But
So
he was in
already
Tanzania,
around.
like,
So
for-
he's
it's only a
within
year.
the salary structure already. So I don't think there's a.
Okay, look, but he's upgraded from Tanzania. Coming, yeah.
No doubt about
Yeah,
that.
of course, yes.
No doubt.
So he's learned from Real Madrid. He's proven himself at a lower league in Tanzania.
Yeah.
Here's the next step. Clearly, he's got ambitions to continue growing. Is DSTV Premiership a place that managers should be looking at to grow their credentials to get jobs in Europe or Saudi or...
One thing that I can tell you is that we've had a lot of European coaches who were unknown prior to them coming to South Africa, and they've come here and made a name for themselves. And I mean, look at Zimbabwe, for instance. He was not that known, you know. He came to Pirates, won a trophy, and is now even getting hired in Morocco. You know, you look at the current Orlando Pirates coach, Jose. You know, he prior to him joining Pirates, he had not won anything, and he sort of made a name for himself. So PSL has been a ground for, I'll say like less attractive coach in
unproven
Europe.
talent.
You know,
Unproven talent.
Unproven talent, yes.
Yeah.
You put it well there. Unproven talent. So there's a whole lot of them that came here. You know, if you go back in the days, you look at your Jeff Butlers, you know, you look at your Ted Dimitri, you know.
The machine.
The machine Echugral, you know. there's a whole lot of coaches that came to South Africa and actually won. I mean, even what's his name? Stuart Baxter.
Or Stuart as well, yeah.
You know, he's one of them, you know. So it has been a place where this unproven European coach comes and they actually do well in South Africa. I don't know what it is that they have, because
even our national team has had a few.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not Joel Santana, though. He was horrible.
Santana came straight from Brazil, right?
Yeah, he came from Brazil, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, okay, so moving away, I think this is a good transition back into European football, especially Premier League, is Fabrizio Romano 8 hours ago.
Yeah.
Manchester United are now set to sign English talented fullback Harry Amos. Deal done. It will be signed completed. Amos joins from Watford. He'll sign for a 4-year contract. Now, the reason I think this is important, because that's not an important signing. It's a youngster joining Manchester United. I think what's important there is that he joins from Watford.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, how many top talents have come from a Watford academy over the years? Now, Watford, not a big football club, not a giant like... Manchester City's academy you expect, Chelsea's academy you expect, Manchester United's academy you expect. Those are the academies you expect top talents from all the time. But Watford consistently delivering top talents from there. Clubs like Southampton consistently delivering top talents from their academies. And we were talking about not nurturing talent here in South Africa. Yeah. And it's like, how many academies are you talking about bringing top talent in? I think... Is Orlando Pirates still seen as the top academy in South Africa? No. I mean, Sundowns now currently will be the top academy in the country. But how many of the other clubs have a youth team that they're really developing that you can say, wow, the first team might not have the money to play with the big boys at the top end of the table, like a Watford. Never going to have the financial power or the fan base or anything to really compete at the top level but the academy keeps pushing out top talents that go on to play for bigger clubs.
Look, I think it's the structures. European structures are very good. I mean, they will have like under 10, under 12s, under 30s, under 15s. It just boils down to financial muscles. I think they've got financial muscles,
especially the UK.
The UK to run these football clubs at a lower age. You know what I mean? So I think it boils down to that, and they've done it for years now. And I think when you compare it to us here, let alone to run a club, it's difficult. You hear stories of players not being paid. So imagine running an under 17, under 15, and under 12. It's difficult.
From the second or third division, let alone the first division.
You know what I mean? So I think it's just structures and financial muscles.
And I think another thing that the European development get right is that you are almost, as a player, a player from the development, you are almost guaranteed a career. Whether you're going to play for a Watford, which is developing you, or you're going to be shipped to Manchester United or Liverpool. That always happens. You're always, at the age of 15, 16, you already know that you're going to have a career in football. In South Africa, we get it wrong. That's why there's so many failed talents.
Like yourself.
Like myself. Vets used to do it right. One of the people, the guys that come here, our friend Josta Zaza, he comes from the Vets development as well. Vets used to do it right. But remembering going back to Kaizer Chiefs, there are a lot of talents that did not make professional, not because they were not good enough, but because maybe Kaizer Chiefs' senior team was flooded, but there was no structure to ship them out to other teams. Yeah. So that's where we get it wrong. We should be able to ship our players from development to other teams if we can't give them a career.
To a certain extent, it's happening, because if you look at a guy like Matt from Chiefs, he's from Pirates, so he never made it to senior team at Pirates, and then he's gone to Chiefs. So I think, and also when you say like in Europe, talent is almost guaranteed. You'll be shocked at how many players were at development that never made it professional.
Hence I'm saying almost, not everyone, but almost. I mean,
no, I'm just saying I think there's a whole lot of players that were in development structures but never really made it professional. I'm just saying,
yes.
I think also from a medical standpoint, I look at Gauteng, I remember when I was a young player. And by the time you get to an age where they teach you how to run properly to not damage your ligaments and stuff, on our hard pitches here in Gauteng, the pitches are hard. The beating it takes on your legs, on your ankles, on your joints from a young age, not learning how to run correctly. Small things.
Yeah.
It sounds like a silly thing.
Yes.
Like when you want a football coach, you want him to teach you how to jump, header, pass, use both feet, some tactics. But just someone who can watch you run and say, hey, listen, we need to work on how you run. You stomp too heavy. You run on your heels.
Yeah.
You're causing damage. And in Gauteng, our dry pitches that we play on are rough on the joints. So maybe it's small things like that where you have talented players who, by the time they're 15, a club looks at him and is like, I'm not going to develop you. We can see that you run for 30 minutes and then you can't run anymore because your joints are aching.
Yeah, look, I agree with you there. There's various factors that we can throw in there that I think they are very, very important. And you look at things like diet. Are the young players eating all right? Because we cannot, and I say this in this podcast, we cannot downplay the issue that our economical issues in these countries. Do they have these young players? Do they have support in terms of such things? You know what I'm saying?
Family support as well.
Family support as well.
Very important,
A lot of these young players come from broken families, So those are social aspects that comes into play when we're discussing development,
Yeah, and then exposure to drugs, crime, things like
all
that
of those,
are big factors.
That's why we've got...
Somehow South America deals with that better than we do here. But I was comparing to Europe, and it's not fair, like you say, it's not fair to compare to Europe because a lot of these kids come from much better homes in places like the UK.
Yeah.
But South America, is it just the pure... Brazil's a difficult country to compare to. It's a football crazy country with a huge population. So
And with a lot of crime as well.
A lot of crime, lot of issues. But their population,
lot of social issues,
their population is huge. So to find 50 good footballers from the whole country of Brazil is much easier than finding 50 good footballers from South Africa.
And every second kid in Brazil is kicking a ball. He's not dreaming of playing cricket. He's not dreaming of playing rugby. You know what I mean?
Do they even have a cricket team?
No, I don't think they do.
in
And
Brazil?
also, when you mentioned that the European clubs find it easier to get players from South America, another thing is they get them when they are fairly young. They go that side when they're like, some of them, they go 12, 13, like Messi went there when he was really, really young, I think when they're young, you can still teach them a lot of things, you can still nurture them to what you want them to be, So I think that also makes a huge difference,
It must start
when
from
they're
a young age.
Yeah.
And from parents as well. Parents play a huge role as well.
Yeah, definitely.
European football clubs, come look for the talent here, get them out of here early.
Definitely.
We need it for Bafana to be strong.
No, definitely. Look, man, maybe we will see Bafana Bafana winning a World Cup in our lifetime. You never know. Hey, I'm stretching it, but hey.
We need maybe 15 top young talented players to go over to European clubs and get the best training. And come back and play for the national side.
Maybe our grandkids will witness Bafana Bafana winning the World Cup.
Yeah, look.
Not even our kids.
Yeah, you never know, hey. Look at Morocco. Morocco, I think they went on a redevelopment of their structures of football. I think it was 6 years ago or I could be wrong. I don't want to get flack for not getting it right. But some few years back, they went on to this redevelopment of football within their structures. And you can see now that Moroccans are dominating African football in all aspects of the game, from under 17s to their women's football clubs are going to the CAF finals, and obviously the national team having to go to the semis. They almost made it all the way. So if we can restructure and put efforts in developing our football structures from all corners of South Africa, I think we stand a better chance. But there has to be a drive. I don't know what happened to that 100 million legacy fund that we got from FIFA, because I think that was the perfect opportunity to get us from the hole that our football is in. Yeah.
What happened to
Hey, man, people, I don't want to say things that I'm not sure. But
that's why I'm only saying the first name.
Okay. talking about, I mean, I did bring up that there's a British talent getting signed by Manchester United and talking about developing British talent in the UK. The one thing, we did talk about financial incentive.
Yeah.
Declan Rice, Moses Caicedo. Look at the price difference that they're talking about for these two players. British tax is real on player signings.
It's a real thing, eh?
Declan Rice, 100 million. And it's looking cheap. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's looking like whichever club buys him for 100 million isn't getting a bad deal. It'll happen. Everyone will be happy with that amount. West Ham will be happy. Whichever club gets Declan Rice will be happy. Moses Caicedo, for me, statistically, you go through all the stats of the season that he had. He's not going to go 100 million.
No, it's not.
60?
60 maybe, yeah. I think it's
But
worth it.
that is big British tax just for a British player, just because he's just British. It's
That's
big
crazy.
money. Mason Mount. Now, I'm not saying that 55 million is. I think Man United over-offered at 55.
55 plus 5. There's an add-on for 5.
No, 50 plus 5 to get to a total of 55.
Oh, okay. Yes,
But
yes,
Chelsea
right.
are holding out for 65. Now, I'm not saying that is too much money for Mason Mount. I think he's a quality player, whatever. I think it's already too big an offer that Manchester United have made and it's been rejected for a player who's in the last season of his contract. He's in the last year of his contract, and he has said to Chelsea,
I want to go.
either I go now
Yeah.
or I go for free in a year.
So, which
So I'll
means
play for you for a year and I'll go for free to a Manchester United. And Chelsea are still saying 55 million is not enough. Again, British tax.
No, they're being ridiculous. And if I were United, I was going to pull out of that deal.
Well, Man United have said,
I think they pulled out. Didn't they
Is
pull
it?
out?
well,
Yeah,
they've
they
said
pulled
that
out.
that was their final offer.
Yes.
The third offer was their final offer at 55 million total.
No, it's fine.
And they've said, we'll leave the offer there in case you change your mind, Chelsea. But if you don't change your mind, there's no more money coming.
Yeah.
We'll move on to other
they'll
targets.
explore other options, yeah.
Yeah. And because we think it's a fair offer. It's a more than fair offer.
It
On
is
a
a
player
fair
who's
offer.
in the last season of his contract, that is a more than fair offer. We'll come back for him next season and get him for free. The reason we've put
They-
all this
they can
money
do
in
that easily,
is our
yeah.
manager really likes the player and we want him for next season. So we're prepared to give you quite a healthy chunk of money for this player. And then Chelsea have said, no, we've got enough money from Saudi. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it looks like Chelsea want to channel all their players to Saudi for some odd reason. Because I think
Is
that
there an interest for Mount in Saudi?
I mean,
No,
no, he's
no, I
too,
don't think so.
he,
It's too
the,
young.
the only other
so I
club
think there's no
that's
pressure for United to get him now. I think
only Bayern Munich, because Thomas Tuchel, who was
Yeah.
the manager at Chelsea, is
Oh,
a big fan
yes.
of Mason Mount. So
Okay.
he is
He might
apparently
push for the
saying,
deal.
we want to push for a deal. But Mason Mount seems like he really wants the Manchester United deal because Ten Hag believes in him so much. So that's why I think the sum looks so big. But also, you've rejected a very big offer for a player, British tax.
yeah, no, it's insane. And Declan Rice, I mean, 100. Is Arsenal gonna go for it?
They have to. Because Man City are going to offer the
Man City-
100.
Did they pull out? I know Man City want him as well.
Yeah, Man City will go for 100
Yeah. 'Cause
guys-
and Arsenal will go for 100.
Let's also not forget
especially that Gundogan is gone now. It will make sense.
we've already there's already Kovacic in the mix.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, so that he's already
let's
there.
not forget that, guys. Agents especially in Europe, they pay journalists to write stories sometimes to create interest. I remember the Cristiano Ronaldo story
When they said he was going to City
to City.
Yes.
It pushed United to
make a
actually-
quick signing.
to make a quick signing,
Just to
And
make
I
the fans
don't
happy.
think there
and it
was-
happened within hours.
Yes, I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't even think Pep.
No,
were-
that was never going to
you
happen.
get what I'm saying? So I'm saying,
but it was so believable when the
was.
story was
Manchester
written, yeah.
United is the only football club in the world that is making signings based on what's in the newspaper. Oh, he's going. Buy him. They're so nervous. They look nervous.
Yeah, and-
Even for a goalkeeper search at the moment,
yeah.
they look nervous.
They do, and I mean, if you look at United for the past few years, they haven't really made like proper. They haven't really signed properly, you know. And I think it's like you're saying, they do panic to.
Bruno was a great signing.
Casemiro
was a great signing. Christian Eriksen for free, good signing.
Yeah.
Lissandro Martinez, good signing.
Only now,
all the ballers
like,
know
the later
my
part now, like 2-3 years ago, I think
all the ballers know my view on Anthony, but we'll move on.
with Anthony, I said to you the other time, I think I was saying to Mag that his attitude towards the game, something has to change. And I was told he's just passionate. And I'm telling you now, I think he's got this mentality, I don't know how to call it, like football doesn't owe you anything. You just have to go there and perform.
And play, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you look at your Messi. Messi will get tackled, I don't know how many times. But
he
you
will get pissed off, but he will still perform.
you know what I
that,
mean? So
There's two players at Manchester United that need to change a lot. It's Anthony and Jadon Sancho. And I think the thing they need to change most is the shirt. Go to another club.
you are being brutal,
Aye.
man.
Aye.
And Rash? You still need Rash in the team?
He's a top player.
Okay.
Marcus Rashford should be.
He had a
man.
great season last
and he's a good player. He loves the club. He wants to play. He plays well. He's dangerous. For me, Bruno Fernandes, him. Those are your untouchable players in the front line of Manchester United. I think Casemiro is important to the club. I think Rafael Varane, Lissandro Martinez, important players. David De Gea, important because you can't sign another goalkeeper, so you need him because we can't find one.
Onana, what's happening with that deal?
I mean, they're talking about it, but Man United have no money. We've already given all of our transfer budget to Chelsea for Mason Mount.
They need to sell the team. That's it.
Yeah, so is
They need to
David
sell
De
the
Gea, even though he cost a few goals, is he a bad goalkeeper? No. If you can keep him on lower wages than what he was earning and spend money rather than finding another top goalkeeper, because their goalkeepers are very expensive at the moment.
But
Ask Tottenham.
Yeah, it's difficult, eh?
We just recently bought a keeper.
Yes, and they spent big money on not necessarily a top goalkeeper. So goalkeepers are very expensive at the moment. Manchester United need probably 3 players down the center of the pitch. And they've been struggling to sell on. So, I mean, they cancelled a bunch of contracts of a bunch of players. So they've trimmed some fat, but not gotten any money back like Chelsea have. Chelsea have got a lot of money back trimming fat.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz,
Kante,
Kante,
Koulibaly, gonna go.
And their goalkeeper who's gone to Saudi League as well.
Yes. Mendy.
Yeah. So Chelsea, who spent 600 million last season, now looking like they're getting a fair portion back, and it's like, okay, financial fair play back in play because they've got a lot of money back on trimming fat, and Manchester United need to be able to do the same. If you can sell Jadon Sancho right now for decent money, you have to let him go because you need that
What's
money.
decent for Sancho? 50, 60?
I think that you need 60 million for a player of Jadon Sancho's quality, but no one's going to offer 60 million for him right now.
Yeah.
Where's his head?
Yeah,
know,
but
How
hasn't
many
really-
years, how
he
many
hasn't
years left
been-
on his contract?
I think it's 2 or 3 years
I think
still left.
I think he signed 4. I can't remember, but he hasn't really fired in all cylinders.
No.
It's not the
I mean,
Sancho
he was
from,
given-
Germany, you know.
Yeah, he was given a break because remember we didn't see him for the first half of last season. Well, we saw him for a little bit, and then he wasn't in any sides. He wasn't in training, nothing, building up to the World Cup, and even a little bit
We
after
saw him
the
on the
World Cup.
stand sometimes.
Yeah. So he was given like a holiday to get his head right. You know, his psychology clearly wrong. So Eric Ten Hag thought, okay, let me give you a holiday. Go see the psychologist. Go get your head right, whatever. Come back and play. And it didn't work. And it's like, okay, now what?
$1 million question.
Yeah, I know.
Mason Green. What
Mason
happens?
Greenwood.
Yeah,
What's going to
Greenwood.
happen to him?
Yeah.
What do you do with Mason Greenwood, Ed? What do you do?
'Cause he's
As the club,
quality.
what do you do? Because he's quality.
He is quality.
He has more quality
get
than
good players around him.
he's a
You need
better
to buy well.
he's a better number 9, I think, going forward.
Yeah.
He'll have to play on the right wing for now because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
not a 9 yet. He
Yeah.
needs time to develop into a 9. But he's a better number 9 going forward than anyone else in their team, maybe Marcus Rashford.
Now, I'll say they need to bring him back. You know, you don't sell such kind of a player.
No, you know.
And they've already lost money.
Big money.
Because they were paying him while the whole trial was happening. So
They're still paying him.
they're still paying him anyway, you know. So
He's training with his own coach,
a
a personal
clear.
coach.
Just get good players around him and let him play.
yeah.
But what does it do for the brand of Manchester United? It's an important question.
there's also that.
He's cleared though. Is he not cleared?
They dropped the case, but he's clearly not cleared from the
From the court of law.
reputational damage. So he's cleared from a criminal damage. He's not going to be arrested. He's not going to be charged. None of those things.
Will he sell
But there
jerseys?
were voice recordings of him being very abusive to his girlfriend. And they've said that they want to do interviews with the women's team to see how they feel about him being allowed back into the team.
Yeah.
I wonder what the manager's thinking is
But
that I need him. The
look, and
manager's
then-
surely thinking I need him.
Look,
Because
And
for them to
I
keep
need him on the right wing.
and for them to keep him for this long, what is the purpose?
Maybe they think that Saudi is going to buy him for 40 million, 50 million.
Sure. Yeah, it's a very
Because
sticky situation for him.
I don't think the Saudi league really cares if they're buying a player
Yeah.
with a reputation for women. I
Yeah,
mean, the
look,
whole
they're not
country of
really
Saudi has a
big
bad
on,
reputation for.
on such things.
Maybe,
You know?
Yeah.
maybe Saudi could be a good escape for him.
At the age of what, 22, 23?
Yeah, but it's a
But
good
I think
league.
I think it deserves a chance. From a human point of view, he deserves a chance. You know, in my eyes, I think from how the case went, the charges were dropped. I think it's cleared.
I think
He deserves to play.
that's the problem, is that you have to suffer consequences for bad actions.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't let footballers think that they're bigger than life.
Yeah, no,
Because
definitely.
he's one of those who's a footballer who thinks he's bigger than life because he's a footballer. He's bigger than other human beings. He's too big to be touched because he's grown up believing he's the greatest, because he has grown up, he's the greatest. I think he's been celebrated from the age of 14, 15, being told how great he is.
Yeah.
So I think that there needs to be consequences for footballers who think they're bigger than life.
Yeah.
But Manchester United's a struggling club. They're not Manchester City. This is an easy decision for Manchester City.
Yeah, look,
Go.
for Mendy, we can't touch him. For
Yes.
me, I wouldn't want them
Why?
to touch him. You know what I mean?
Why? You don't need him.
We don't need him.
Manchester United need Mason Greenwood.
Yeah.
He'd make a big difference to the side.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But can I make this example? The reason I say if he's cleared, then he deserves a chance. Cristiano Ronaldo was once accused of rape as well, if you guys remember, and he came out and commented about it, right?
Yes.
There were charges, but they were dropped as well before he was arrested. Unfortunately,
Very
So if
different
if
case.
If he could get a chance to come back and still become the Ronaldo that he became, and he was in his prime of his career when it happened. Why can't we give Greenwood a chance to?
I think that it's a different case. That's the only thing I can say, is that with Cristiano Ronaldo was an accusation.
Yeah.
He said, she said.
Yes.
Mason Greenwood, there's recordings.
Yeah.
Very clear that he was in the wrong. And the whole world perceives it that way.
Yeah.
With Cristiano Ronaldo,
Did it happen? Did it not happen?
yeah, it came forward once. She dropped it and walked away. She got some money. And then she came back years
yes,
later. So
yeah.
then people are thinking, Ronaldo's saying it was consensual. You're saying it was rape.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of leeway there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's a different case to Mason Greenwood's, where he was clearly abusive, where she posted photos of herself.
Yeah, no, he
after
was.
the
He
abuse.
was. He was.
Yeah,
So
look,
I think it's a difficult.
it's a difficult,
difficult one.
and none of us are pros in
I'll say Manchester United. You've got enough money. You've got a fairly good squad of players. Wipe
Get-
your hands of him. Go.
I'd say play him good. Get good players around him and play him.
Yeah, look, from
he
a
can be
reputation
instrumental for
point
the
of
team.
view, yeah,
I would say wipe your hands of him and let
yeah,
him
because
go.
they're gonna get like
Go
real
elsewhere.
flack, eh?
Go to another country. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd cancel his contract and tell him to go.
Let's see what the bowlers say regarding Greenwood. Yeah.
Yeah, no, look, yeah, no, I think, yeah, from a reputation point of view, I think it's gonna be very difficult for United to keep him.
Well, ballers, I think that is it. Be sure to stay onside with us. Don't go offside. Stay onside. Be sure to join us at the road to 1 million.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
Ed, thank you very much. Super sub, as
Danko.
always. Thank
you,
you very
guys.
much. Final whistle. We'll catch you onside next
Outta
week.
here.
Make some noise right now.
Enter! Podcast and Chill Network in association with Grandeur presents The Road to 1 Million Subscribers event on the 30th of July 2023 at SUNBET AREANA in Pretoria. Lineup includes Kaizer Small, MacG, Musa Keys, Mpop Pops, Celestine Dooley, Eugene Koza, and Robert Boy. This fun-filled event will include comedy, music performances, as well as a live audience conversation with MacG, Sorpen Duka, and the Ghost Lady. Tickets are now available on Cricket from 295 rands. Doors open at 6 p.m. Food and drinks sold at the venue. Come and join a milestone celebration of Black excellence with Podcast and Chill Network.